What's up, everybody? Welcome to KMS Reloaded episode 4. I hate talking about myself. I know some of you will find that hard to believe. I didn't want to do this show. I planned on not doing a recap of the shows I was on. But when Kirk Minahan asks you, hey, you doing a wrap-up show? That's Kirk Minahan's way of saying, you should do a wrap-up show. So I got the hint. But like I said, I hate talking about myself. That was really hard to do, some of the shit I said yesterday. One of the things about Kirk, and I didn't respect this enough apparently, is how much he can dissect you and figure you out like that. He knew that I didn't like talking about myself on this show. So I think this is Kirk's way of fucking busting my balls. Who knows, maybe he's just in my head. So now I have to do a wrap-up show about the show I was on. I don't like hearing myself speak. I don't like looking at myself. When you edit video, it kind of doesn't even become you after a while. You're so used to doing it for hours and hours. It's a whole nother thing to watch the YouTube version of the podcast, your very first show you've ever really been on, to fucking watch it 2-3 times, to take notes on it, to judge it. Now I've gone on this show, I've taken shots at Rico Bosco, I've taken shots at Kelly Keegs, I've taken shots at Greg Polar, I've taken shots at Chris Clemmer. So how do you do a wrap-up show about the show you were on about being fair? I have no idea. Right off the top, let's give a shout out to the sponsors. Milton's a store for men, 3 locations throughout Massachusetts. I went to the Burlington store, it was beautiful. We'll talk about that butchered spot that I tried to do later. Blind Mike, blindmike.net, and you can check out his Patreon, and also HelloFresh. One thing I forgot to mention about HelloFresh on the show that I wanted to get to. I've been using HelloFresh for a while now, and yes, it was partly stress, as you guys learned on the show yesterday, but I've lost like almost 70 pounds since December using HelloFresh. 70. I was like 230 and I'm in the 160s, so 60 to 70 pounds. It's really about portion control, so check HelloFresh out. They're really great. Here we go. The worst fucking thing you can do when you're on a podcast is not talking to the microphone. And how do I start off the fucking show? By not talking into the fucking microphone. Just shithead rookie move. You tell yourself before you go on the show, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, and I just absolutely fucking blew it as far as talking into the microphone. The most basic fucking simple step that there is, and I fucking blew it from the get-go. Now I did get better at it, but it's like, Jesus Christ. And I gotta watch this and recap this? I'm not talking into the microphone. I'm not even looking forward. I'm looking at Dave, who I can't even fucking see. And every time he talks, I'm just looking at the wall where he's coming from like a moron. Kirk gives me a chance to give my introduction, and it sounds like some fucking 7-year-old standing in front of the class who's afraid to speak. It was so fucking pathetic. And I'm gonna call fucking Kelly Keegs no talent? Jesus Christ. So then my hotel room comes up that Kirk eventually offers to pay for. Dave starts giving me this bullshit like I should be the one paying for my hotel, like it comes out of his fucking pocket. Hopefully he's not doing the books, Kirk Minahan, because if he is, I'd watch out for that fucking guy. 270 bucks for a hotel room. Yeah, Dave, that's what happens when you get 5 hours notice Labor Day fucking weekend that you want a hotel in Boston, Massachusetts. So of course, Dave right off the bat, just being cunty, you know, kissing my ass before the show. Cunty Dave on the show, but what else is new? That's what he is. Still not talking into the microphone at this point. Still been talking for a few minutes. I'm still doing this like I'm fucking Stevie Wonder all over the place. Like, what the fuck, dude? I was up till 2 a.m. the night before the show, going through my head all the shit I was not gonna do, and I fucking blew it. One thing that the show puts really not that much effort into, the merchandise side of thing. But the flip side of that is, when they did put effort into it in the past, they didn't get any really promotion from Barstool about it. Now Kirk, again, he always says he never asks for it, but a lot of other people don't ask for it at Barstool either, and they got it. When you see Barstool Sports removing all their clothes, and it sounds like they didn't even tell him, it's kind of fucked up. I really would like to shave Dave's head and put it on a shirt. I think that'd be really funny. I think you guys would enjoy that shirt. Then we start talking about David Ortiz and the blood money he's taken from Live Golf, the blood money. We mentioned Serena Williams. I was kind of lost there. I didn't really know what to say. The only thing I remembered in my head was, oh yeah, Serena Williams and something about a doubles match. So I just ran with it. Fucking panic attack. I don't remember the guys bringing up Oprah on the show. I've also spent the last almost a year in a fucking bender, so. This is the part of the show where we start to talk about my past. My ex, all that shit you guys heard. I had one of these One of these illustrious 4 women I've dated in the past 8 months. We were on a date. Starts asking me about the story I told you guys, and this was only a few months ago. I started bawling my eyes out telling this chick the fucking story. So when you figure that was only a couple months ago, and now I go on this show, I hate fucking talking about myself on this show, and now again I'm talking about myself on this show. But that's what Kirk Minahan does to you. He gets in your head and he makes you do stuff you don't want to do. My articulation throughout the whole show was probably the worst of any KMS guest in the history of KMS. I kept saying for sure, yeah, definitely. It's like, have you ever watched a fucking episode of a podcast, you fucking moron? You rookie fucking talentless fuck? Here I am taking shots at all these people and I can't even put a coherent sentence together. Fuck. Still not talking to the microphone at this point. Still looking around like an asshole. I'm so raw, it's fucking embarrassing how raw I was on that footage. To watch that fucking footage. It was torture. And I know that's why Kirk fucking said it. So again, kudos to Kirk. Literally the worst instincts in KMS history. I challenge someone to go out and find someone that had worse instincts in KMS history than my performance on that show. Fucking gross teeth, fucking smoker's teeth, awful fucking voice. Although some people like it, it's so bad. To each his own. We started talking about Blind Mike a little bit, and it's true. I do think that this show, probably not this episode, this is going to be a rough one. I do stand by my words. I think this wrap-up show is the best wrap-up show KMS has ever had. But that being said, I really like Blind Mike's wrap-up show. I think Blind Mike is by far the best sidekick that's ever been on anything Kirk's done. And Dave's close behind him as well. Oh, you want to hear something fucking pathetic about Blind Mike? This is about me, not about Blind Mike. So when I'm sitting there in Mike's chair, Kirk walks in, and the way he walks in into the hallway leading to the studio, I lock eyes with him. He's not a prick. He looked at me and said, "Hey Steve, thanks for coming." You know, really nice guy, but he's not looking to make friends, and I'm not looking to be his friend either. So he comes in, he immediately sits down, puts the headphones on. That's all true. The show ends, takes his headphones off. He says, "Thank you for coming." I could be making this up, but I think he said good job. So and then he just walks out. Again, not a prick, a fucking professional. He wants to do a good show. A lot of people think that that's a dick move. But you have to remember how many personal relationships that this guy has felt burned by. This guy doesn't want to make friends. He wants to make the most entertaining show possible. And that's the problem that old Blind Mike had. That's the problem that DEC had. That's the problem that Chris Klemmer had, the other bozo that he worked with. There was another child molester besides DEC, I believe, that was just like that. Put Steve Robinson into that mix. When the case was over and it was successful, and Kirk didn't go, "Come here, Steve, we're best buddies now. You're going to be partners in the KMS show." Steve fucking bounced. All these people have the same thing in common. They all wanted to be Kirk's butt. Them wanting the respect of Kirk, which I do, of course, but the most important thing is to make a good show. They wanted to be friends with Kirk. They wanted to go over his house on fucking Saturday and hang out with the dog and the kids. And that's just not who he is. That's not what this fucking show is. Blind Mike gets it now, but even him back in the day, he didn't get it. So after the show, I'm just kind of walking around the studio. I talked to Dave for a few minutes. I feel like I had my moments, but I feel like I was doing a shitty job on the show. I'm walking to my car, going over it in my head, how can I do it better next time, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that came to me was, oh, I can't believe I'm telling you guys that I did this. It's so fucking cringe. One of the things I was thinking about was I didn't prepare enough. So I fucking DM, oh, I can't believe I'm telling you guys this. I fucking DM Blind Mike and ask him his preparation, like how he prepares for the show. And thank God for him that he didn't respond. Oh my God, thank you for not responding, Blind Mike. And I fucking apologize for putting you in that fucking cringe-worthy moment. Holy shit, was that embarrassing. Oh, fucking, "Hey Mike, can you help me prep for the show?" Oh, fucking pathetic. Fucking pathetic. Welcome to KMS Reloaded. If you watch the show again, for me, like I have about 4 times now, it's at this point where Kirk and Dave are just really carrying the show. They're absolutely just carrying the show. They were saving this fucking disaster, this apocalypse from happening. I introduced my mom and my dad, so I thought that was pretty funny. I hope their character's on the show when I'm on the show, or even if I'm not on the show. Pretty cringe moments for me. Really tough to watch. Interrupting Kirk, yeah, for sure, definitely, 100%. You know, all the stupid fucking shit I kept saying, talking over people. Piss poor performance by me. Now we interview Bob Glober. A bunch of people are hard on Bob, but I mean, come on. The fucking guy is his last day of work, and like we said on the show, how many people are gonna go on KMS like that, period? You gotta give the guy a pass. I thought for coming on the show, props to him, kudos to him. Happy retirement, Bob. I ask Kirk some questions, but while he's talking, I'm interrupting. I'm not being exciting, I'm not being entertaining, and Dave and Kirk, again, like I said earlier, just carrying the show. We start talking about passive-aggressive Chaps. Just an awful clip by Chaps. If you're gonna take shots at Kirk, just take shots at Kirk. Yeah, I respect Kirk. He's great, he's so funny, he's such a motivator because he's such a fucking asshole. What a bitch Chaps is. As we're bringing up Barstool, I have my second biggest cringe moment of the show. I say the words trophy generation 3 fucking times. Stellar performance by Steve Snell today. Absolutely fucking cringe to the max. Start talking about my podcast. Can't believe I brought that up. Talk about an embarrassing moment. Talk about making yourself look like the biggest fucking failure in the history of fucking podcasts. Oh, that's because you are. Here I am shitting all over these people and I can't even record 5 fucking seconds of audio. So at this point, I wanted to talk about what Kirk does during the show, and he does this again for me later on. When I have these moments in the show where I say something fucking dumb, or I try to force feed in that story we'll talk about later, that cheerleading gym story that I just tried to ram in there, that was the worst moment for me on the show, all time low. When you do something stupid like that, and Kirk just starts fucking shitting on you. I know it's easy to think that he's being a dick, but he's not. If Kirk was being a dick and he wanted to let me die on the vine, he would just let me blabber into silence. And that would still be pretty funny too. Not as funny as what he does, but if he really didn't give a fuck and he was really the prick that some people thought he was, he would just let me blabber. But what Kirk does is, like, for example, that Barstool thing, I force it down their throats, right? I fucking butcher it. He comes back, he shits all over me, makes fun of me, really funny shit, but then he can bring it up in a way and he articulates it in a way that I couldn't for me to get my opinion on the subject. That's why he's the best, that he can draw that out of you. When Kirk shits on you like that, he's throwing you a fucking life raft. So for all those people that think he's being an asshole, don't look at it that way. And during that other awful story I tried to force feed in there, he fucking saved my ass. He could have easily let me blabber on for 2 minutes. Imagine me talking about that for 120 seconds, how awful that would have been. But no, what did he do? He shits on me and he finds a way for me to get my point across, help me out, while still fucking shitting on me. He's fucking brilliant, this guy. He really is brilliant. Right after that, same thing. Steve Roberts, is Steve excited? Like, what are you doing? Do you even watch the Kirk Menahan show, you fucking dumbass? Who would ask that question to Kirk? I really want to do the dating show, though. I was serious about that. I think that'd be really funny if we had like a real set. We could set it up like the old school ones where I can't really see them, although that would probably, I don't know how that would go. Maybe that's not a, yeah, maybe I should cut that out. So then the Milton's ad comes up. I've kind of butchered everything I've talked about for the most part. I've had a couple of decent moments, you know, C+ moments at best. But then he gives me the easy one, fucking layup. Just talk about your experience last night. And I can't even fucking do that. I butcher that. Oh, but again, the whole show, Kirk busting my balls and then saving my ass. At this point in the podcast, still not looking forward. Still can't focus straight and talking to the microphone. Still haven't figured that out. And we're like halfway through the fucking show. We start talking Kirk's salary. I always was interested in that. I knew some of the answers. I just was curious to see how quickly he went up the ladder. And man, did that guy have a fucking rise. That guy was making 40 grand a year to $1 million a year. A few years, not even. Pretty amazing. Oh yeah, during the Milton's ad, I fucking stood up too. Another cringe moment. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, what am I thinking? So then we start talking golf. This is at the part in the show where these guys are moving so fast and I'm so not caught up on these topics where I start feeling like I'm starting to get left behind a little bit. I feel like I'm scrambling a little bit. Kirk asked me something about golf. Oh, completely cringe. One of the worst moments in KMS history. He busted my balls, he made fun of it, he turned it funny, and Kirk saved that situation again. This is where officially the worst force-fed news story in KMS history, I now have the #1 spot in that place. For some reason, I had it in my head that this would have been a good story to bring up. And I thought about how I was gonna bring it up. And then I had my chance to bring it up and it just came out, blah, 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 blah. Literally worst story in KMS history. But again, like I said a few minutes ago, Kirk busts my balls. He shits on me. He's really funny about it. Turns the topic serious. He allows me to get my opinion across while still being funny. And you can't ask much more from Kirk Minahan. If you're gonna put yourself out there and make yourself look fucking stupid for the show, at least he can make content out of it so you guys can enjoy it. And that's really the goal every time. I asked a couple questions about Kirk's parents. I know he's talked about his parents in the past. Before I left for the show, Carol was asking me about Kirk. She lost both her parents, cancer as well. She was asking me all these questions about it, and I actually didn't know the answers. So that's part of the reason why I asked. For Kirk to lose his parents like that within 7 weeks of each other, what are you gonna do? I'm sure he's crying all the way to the bank. This is when Kirk really helps me out the most. He brings up Greg, and he knows that I can at least talk about Greg. The only reason Kirk brought up Greg was to help me out, was to throw me that life raft, so I can at least try to get something coherent out, which I kind of butchered that too. I'm still interrupting everybody, which is fucking wonderful. Just great job on a podcast, just talking over two different people. And it's at this point in the show where Kirk finally starts to get under my fucking skin. I was telling myself there is no way that this guy, Kirk Minahan, is ever gonna piss me off, and it took him an hour, and he was getting under my skin. Legitimately, no bullshit, starting to piss me off. And Cullinane was too. Cullinane, where the fuck was I? They know how bad I wanna be on the show. So what do? They just say I'm a fucking rat, that I'm gonna leave. And that was legitimately pissing me off. They found something to get me, and I never even thought that they had a prayer of getting under my skin. But congratulations, guys. You fucking did it. So now you know how to piss me off. Just say I'm gonna be a snake to the Kirk Min show. I don't know if it's because I was on the show, but I actually thought the calls were pretty funny today. Obviously, Chase Cullinane was a really good call. That was a really funny call. What an honor it was to be on the show when President Trump calls in, and to get roasted by Trump with some fucking good zingers too. Complete honor, Mr. President. Thank you for that. It's at this point of the show that I was having a hard time keeping up with the guys between the calls, and then they were kind of bouncing from topic to topic to topic. And these guys are so fast and so quick. Even Dave, who's a fucking moron, some of the shit he says, and this is coming from me. It's one thing when you're watching the show and just enjoying it, but when you're sitting there trying to keep up, it can get pretty intimidating. I never thought I'd say that. Dave Cullinane's genius was fucking intimidating. It goes to show you how fucking dumb I am. Again, just absolutely try to force my shower thing in there. Just every time I get my moment, I just open mouth, insert foot. Kirk saves me again, busts my balls, and he allows me to kind of get my piece out there and at least try to save it, which I don't. So before I close out the show, I just got two little things I want to say. One of them show related, and I'm kind of breaking one of my rules, and I'm gonna go off show related. Now I'm gonna make this about me, because this whole fucking show is apparently about me. So why not just go all in? First, I want to talk about Menners. So when I did the first episode, he reached out. He was nice to me, which I don't give a shit if any of you guys are nice to me. I like hearing the nice stuff, I'm not gonna lie, but all those people who say that I suck, that I'm ugly, that I'm this, that I'm that, that I'm no talented, I love it. Keep it fucking coming, because that's gonna make me be on your fucking Kirk Minahan show as a hired fucking permanent member. So keep up all that hate, because that is what is fueling me to fucking annoy the shit out of you guys. You have this no talent, small little fucking pussy Menners, because that's what you are. You're a fucking pussy who is upset that Kirk Minahan doesn't like you. You're so fucking pathetic. You're using Steve Snell from fucking KMS Reloaded to fucking get clicks and views, who's been doing this for less than 2 weeks, and he's already bigger and better than you. So at this point, we got the Dave Cullinane as we close out the show, and Dave says he wants to hire me part-time. You know, typical fucking cheap Dave, like it comes out of his pocket or something. Any way I get on the show, that's all that matters to me. Obviously, I'd like full-time, but I'll take part-time. So that's pretty much how the conversation ended. Before we close out the show, let's talk about Wednesday's guest, Maitland Ward. I plan on getting intimately introduced to her tonight, and I hope many of you as well. Just for prep work for the show, of course. She's got a book out that Kirk's gonna read in like, I guess a weekend apparently. Campfire KMS for Monday night. Hopefully I can go outside, record in front of the campfire for you guys. Fingers crossed it'll all come together very well. So if I film Monday night, and then I edit it all night, and you try to get it uploaded in the morning, I think Dave should be able to get it to you guys by Tuesday night, hopefully, if nothing goes wrong. So this has been a terrible episode of KMS Reloaded. I apologize to anyone who's fucking made it this far. I did not know how to do this show. I did not want to do this show, and I did not want to talk about myself. And I actually had to do all three. So thank you, Kirk Minahan, for making me do that. I had a blast on the show. I really did, honestly. I'm so thankful that I got on the show. I'm so thankful to those guys, and I can't wait for what's coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this fucking disaster. I hope you guys enjoyed me ripping myself for the whole show. You shouldn't expect it any other way. I'm gonna say it like it is. If I'm the worst part of the show, then I'm the worst fucking part of the show, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go relax now because this was fucking stressful. Take it easy, guys.
No big deal. No hard feelings. Good luck. Fuck you!